Hi gang, it's Hexy. Alright, so we had just finished playing a 4-turn scenario in the new Wilderness game coming out. So now I wanted to discuss this drift rule that is coming out in this version, future version of a GBACW game. And there were some good people pointed out some good things on the in the comments on my YouTube video. And the developer and designer sort of they chimed in on it too. And I'll take the hit for this because I didn't really explain this thoroughly enough. So you're gonna get like a first alert. Now granted, the game is still in development, so rules could change. But as it stands right now, so the drift rule is to sort of point out or emphasize the confusion and caused by the terrain during movement of battle lines during this fight. All right? You're not going to be in column formation in these woods or march formation in these woods, so you're going to either be in advanced or attack. Now, if, for instance, this brigade you're looking at here, if they were in attack formation and they have woods in their front, these two units both have woods in their front hex, and they move forward into the zone of control adjacent to an enemy unit, they don't have to worry about drift, all right? Because they're in attack formation and they've moved in and they're engaging with an enemy unit. So now let's back this up. And let's say it doesn't matter whether these guys are in advance or in attack formation back here. And you're trying to, let's say they're in advance and we're trying to move them forward as fast as we could. So what you do, and the drift is not to say that a unit moved here, then he moved here, then he moved here, then he drifted backwards. What the drift rule is trying to do is give you the final effect of a unit's entire movement should they drift or slide. So what it's representing is if this whole brigade, let's say, moves 2 hexes forward. I probably need to put these over. This guy here would not have to drift because it's got a field hex in front of him. But let's say they're all over here, okay? And they move forward 2 hexes. Well, they're all starting with woods to their front, all right? So what you do is once you're done, the movement, and of course there's any fire that's involved too would happen, you roll for drift. And drift is on this wonderful little chart right here, okay? And it tells you under what conditions when the unit starts that they have to roll for drift. So it doesn't mean when you roll for a back left or a back right or a straight back or whatever, it doesn't mean the unit moved 2 or 3 hexes forward, then they turned and moved a hex to the right or left or back. What it's trying to do is trying to simulate what may have happened to them during the move. So these guys all move 2 hexes forward, so you roll on drift, and let's say you get a 4, which is back left. What it's trying to say is so if these units all move to their back left, it doesn't mean that they went 1, 2, and then back. It just means that they went 1. All right, that's all it's trying to simulate, is that their movement may have been deterred or modified due to the terrain. And that's what you need to keep in mind. So when you see this, when you move these units 3 hexes ahead, say they're in advance and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you roll for drift and he ends up moving back, it doesn't mean he moved all the way up and then moved back. It just means somewhere along the route here, he got delayed or caught up, and instead of getting all the way to here, he only got there. And then in the same instinct, let's say he moves 2 forward and you roll on the drift and he gets a forward to the right. It just means maybe he was moving good through the woods and his momentum carried him 1 more hex forward. That's all it means. So don't look at drift as forward, forward, sideways, forward, forward, backwards. Think of it as they just didn't move as far forward as what your intention was because they got confused in the heavy woods. That's all it is. All right, that's just a quick explanation. Like I say, the rules, this game is still in development, so it could be, you never know, it might be changed how they do it. I think it's actually pretty good as it is. It's just that when you get this, if the rules are like this, when the game comes out and you get it, it's a great addition because I'm telling you, it causes so much confusion. And I apologize for saying that my units drifted backwards. They didn't drift backwards. They actually just didn't make it as far forward because you do it at the completion. So, and you have the option in the game right now to do when you move a regiment or you move a whole brigade, you could do each individual regiment individually on drift, which works, but actually it takes more time. Or you can just do the whole brigade and just drift the whole brigade, which, you know what, if you got a brigade in line and they drift, the odds are the whole brigade might just drift like that anyhow. All right, so that's just a quick explanation of drift. I hope that's right. I hope that works for you, so that when you do, get this thing, you'll have one heads up on the rules if they don't change. All right, get this posted. Talk to y'all soon.